going to do now is we're going to use our knowledge of the solution and the factor in order to construct a synthetic division routine or so to find the other factor, right? And remember, this is a continuation, so it's still a little bit of new work. So I'm going to use, I know x equals -1 is a solution, x plus 1 is a factor. So let's write down this equation again. Okay, do we all concur that that equation was x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1? Okay, so x cubed, let's just make this function notation, y equals x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1. Okay, and let's say we now have defined that I'm going to make this equal to 0, and we know that the solution was x equals -1, which means the factor must be x plus 1. Now synthetic division works like this. Let's see, I'm going to take my colorful things that I have here, I'm going to do that over there, and I'm going to label this as follows. I'm going to put all of this in orange, which is x cubed, this is x squared, this is x, and this is d, right, which means the constant term. And then I'm going to set up the table. The table, all as part of my setup here, I'm going to put the solution in there. Are you guys with me? And I'm going to put 0 here, and that's part of your setup. Okay, now once you have that as a structure for your setup, I want you to insert the coefficients below here. The coefficient of x cubed is 1. The coefficient of x squared is what? Coefficient of x squared is 1. The coefficient of x is -1, and the constant term is -1. The solution must go here. So as you know that x plus 1 is a factor, it means that the solution is what?
X equals
-1. So I'm going to put the -1 there. Are you guys all with me now? Okay. Now for synthetic division, I'm going to make two important notes. Number one is we have to add downwards. What is this?
Add downwards.
Right? And so when you go down, it means you must add. So I'm going to use violet. So 1 plus 0 is?
1 plus 0 is 1.
Okay. Right. 1 plus 0 is? 1 plus 0 is 1. Right. Then you take the solution. Follow carefully because this is repetitive, right? So once I do one example, you must be able to do any example. -1, and I multiply this, and I multiply across. What does that give me? And I put the solution here. That's -1. Are you with me? Now again, I go down, and when you go downwards, you add. So what's 1 plus -1? 0. Now you take the solution again, and you're going to multiply it. -1 multiplied by 0 is 0. And now you add down again. What do you add? -1 plus 0 gives me -1. And then I take this thing again and I say -1 multiplied by -1 gives me +1. Now I add downwards, I get 0. This last 0 is very important because it means that if this thing is 0, it means there is no remainder. Now for all the calculations that we do in grade 12, we don't see a remainder in this section. So you will know by now, if you don't have a 0 here, you've messed up the calculation somewhere. For grade 12. Are you with me? Okay. Now, what I want to tell you now is what we've done is we've actually taken this polynomial and we've divided it by x plus 1. And synthetic division is just a shortcut for that. So given that, we can now see I'm adding downwards, there's no remainder. This is a reduced polynomial. What is this?
Reduced polynomial.
This row here, which leaves me with x squared, that's x, and this is going to leave me with c. So those are your coefficients for the reduced polynomial, which I'm going to put over here, and that's going to be 1x squared plus 0x, which means I can leave it out, minus 1 for c. Are you with me? Now you can factorize further on your own. which is going to be what?
X on the outside.
X plus 1. This is a difference of squares, which is x minus 1,
X plus 1.
x plus 1. And given that, we can now easily find, therefore, x must equal to
-1.
-1 or
Positive 1.
x equals positive 1
Or -1.
or x equals -1. So you can easily just write that as x equals -1 times 2, like twice, and then x equals 1.
You have
Now,
to write that twice.
it doesn't matter, I just said. Well, another question there from the WhatsApp. 1, where did the 0 come from? Well, the 0 came from part of the setup. When I set it up, I put everything in orange because those are the things that you'll write down initially, okay? That will never change from question to question. Now, guys, you can state these as coordinates because these are x-intercepts. We know that the y-coordinate of the x-intercepts are what? Ooh, the y-coordinate of the x-intercepts are what? 0.
0.
So this is going to be -1 on the x, right? And that's going to be twice. And this is going to be +1 on the x. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And 0. And that there, you go and add this now to your table that you started this section with. Okay, I don't have the table on today's slides, but the table should be there from the previous video. Okay.